Global War 36 enthusiast here with a video on understanding submerging. There's two things that you need to understand about submarines submerging. The first is that it only applies to defending submarines. Attacking submarines never submerge. Defending submarines are required to submerge after one round of combat. So at the end of the first round of combat, defending submarines always submerge. It's not a choice. The second thing that you need to understand is that it's not something that you decide. It's not an option. In V3, you had the option to submerge with submarines. In V4, it's required for you to submerge. So that's basically, submerging is basically something the attacking player forces the defending submarine to do. Let's say that it's Japan's turn and they want this submarine, this French submarine in P-50 to submerge. Maybe they want to lend-lease or send supply into this sea zone and they don't want an interdiction roll from the French sub. So if the Japanese player moves this light cruiser and torpedo boat destroyer into P-50, remember that submarines have the option, unsubmerged submarines have the option to engage in combat or could decline combat unless enemy map is present. So the Japanese player would move into P-50 with those two units and ask the French sub, hey, do you want to engage in combat? And the French sub could decline. So it's still unsubmerged. It hasn't been forced to submerge. Another thing that could happen is maybe the Japanese player just moves in with this torpedo boat destroyer and takes these three transports out of port into P-50 and asks the French player if he would like to engage in combat with those four ships. So in other words, kind of enticing the French submarine. If the French submarine said, oh my God, that's so tasty. If I roll a 1, 2, or 3 and the torpedo boat destroyer misses, I'll destroy all those transports. And if it does do that, let's say that the French sub hit and the Japanese torpedo boat destroyer missed, all these transports would be destroyed and this submarine would submerge. So that's another way that you could do it. You could basically entice the French submarine into combat. But the most common way is, let's say that the Japanese developed long-range aircraft and they have a seaplane base there in Okinawa. So this seaplane could go 1, 2, 3 in that situation. When you have a seaplane at a seaplane base with long-range aircraft, then you have a map range of 3. So it could go out, it gets one shot at 3 to kill that French sub, and then if it misses, the French sub submerges. So that's the most common way that you force enemy subs to submerge. Note that attacking subs will never be submerged. So that was something from V3. I want to point that out to the community.